So if you multiply the man hours required to process all of these Part 1 crimes, this is nothing against the officers in the Salisbury Police Department. Don't get me wrong. I think they're great guys.
I agree with you.
But I think that this mayor and the last mayor and the police chief is asking them for Mission Impossible. I don't see how they can possibly do adequate work, that they have enough manpower to do the work that needs to be done to resolve the crime problem in Salisbury.
We went from number 9 in '07,
right?
Well, really '06, to number 2 in '08.
Right.
Correct? So my question would be, we have so many citizens that have really become fed up with the leadership of the Salisbury Fire Department. And I agree with you. I think the police officers are doing just fine. They're doing the best that they can with what they have. It's my understanding there's 12 officers that they're short. At this current moment, 12. With these crime task force, Mark, you've got the Chamber of Commerce, you've got the City of Salisbury, and you're also involved with Crime Solvers. How's it working for you? How are these task force working for you? I mean, I also heard during the campaigns, Mr. Comagese was constantly saying that he wanted the community more involved in community policing. I've seen nothing involving that. Now, it's a task force. Is it a lot of talk? Is it a lot of shaking hands and a lot of conversation? Or is there anything concrete getting done?
Boy, that's a tough question. I think Ronald Reagan said it best. Government's not the ones that solve the problem. They create the problem, not solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I got that quote just right, but the idea, of course, is I think very applicable to what we're talking about. I'm not sure that government is on the right track to resolve this problem. That's just why I'm real happy to be here today, Joe. I think that the citizens need to kind of sit up a little bit, listen to what we're talking about here today. Maybe go do your own research on the internet, and then maybe start asking some hard questions to government officials. And if you don't get the adequate answers, then we need to ask it, I guess, a little louder.
There's one last question I have that's been a big topic. We've had the pleasure of having a new sheriff for 3 years now. He's been in for 3 years, and Mike Lewis has just changed morale like there's no tomorrow, and we've enjoyed having him as sheriff of Wicomico County. People are asking, can we take the Salisbury Police Department and merge it with the county? Do you have any thoughts on that or feelings?
Well, my gut feeling is that that would be quite time consuming by the time you got through the necessary paperwork,
right,
and the referendums and the votes to accomplish that. I do know from my talking with Davis Ruark that he had mentioned that there was 2 other studies previous to now, in the 90s, that looked at the issue of can we or should we merge our police officers, our law enforcement agencies. And the answer was, I understand that the answer was yes, that we should, but it was never done because of, it just...
Politics.
I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't done, but certainly that's not the solution that I'm looking for, because I'm hoping we can do something a little quicker than that. Currently, the city has applied for a grant from the state of Maryland,
right,
called the Safe Streets Program.
Mm-hmm.
If we get that, and I was able to go up and actually sat in on their task force meeting that they hold. They were able, Joe, this was great. In those numbers there, when we were number 9, Annapolis was number 26 out of 741 cities. They're in the same category as we.
Right, right.
And so that's pretty awful, 26, but of course, But after they applied after they went after this task force and applied it, they cut their crime, or Part 1 crimes were cut nearly in half in the first year.
Wow.
And that's something that we have the ability to do. It's obviously been done in Annapolis, but it takes, I can tell you, it will take the will of the government officials and the law enforcement agencies to come together to set aside their differences and work together in unison to resolve this.
So you're afraid that with this recent lawsuit between the chief and the mayor in the city of Salisbury, that could possibly interfere in their receiving this grant money? I mean, who's going to want to loan money to an agency that can't even get along with their own bosses?
I don't know how the state will determine who gets the grant.
Right.
I do know it's a very competitive process.
Right.
I heard that there was only going to be 1 or 2 other communities to receive it, and that, of course, we're one of them. I believe there's about 6 or so that have applied. But certainly, if I was one of the people making the decision and I heard that the police chief has sued the mayor, then I would question, well, wait a minute, is this a real good use of our money? And money's tight.
Right.
Are they going to select Salisbury? I think that suit was, if it had to come, was very untimely.
Mm-hmm.
If it could have been delayed till after the decision was made on the Safe Streets program, it certainly would have been better. This lawsuit certainly will not help us get this grant.
Right.
I wouldn't think. So yeah, that could have been a little monkey wrench thrown in the works.
But I think what's important too is that what's great about this show is it's given us an opportunity to share this kind of information with the public for once.
Yeah.
And this is vital information because people are wondering, why aren't we getting these grants? Why is crime up so high?
Right.
In our last show I said crime isn't as bad as you really think it is from one year to the next. You just proved me wrong on that. I mean, it's pretty substantial going from number 9 to number 2.
Right.
So I was inaccurate in that. And you know, but the bottom line is, because we're exposing this information, people are becoming more educated. Now I hope that they can turn around and get involved with city council meetings, with their county people as well. I mean, there's a lot of people who are accountable for this, and people forget. The city of Salisbury is in the county.
Yep.
You can't divide the two. I mean, you know, the bottom line is there's tons of traffic coming in here for shopping and all 9 yards. People are scared. So we need to work on this, and hopefully we can get this done through this show, and I appreciate you coming in and helping us out and educating us with incredible statistics.
Well, that's great, Joe, and I encourage your viewers to check this out for themselves. You know, I really do try to stick to the facts, and, you know, if I make a mistake, you call in. I want to know about it. But
Right.
I feel pretty confident about this information.
I think the first call might be Chief Webster.
I'll be glad to sit down and talk to Chief anytime.
Well, we'll also provide this information Saturday evening. Once the show airs, we'll provide the statistics that Mark has provided on sbynews.com, so you'll have all the information, and we appreciate you coming this week.